I'm Ann Barsotti with PSP Perspectives at the Trending Technology Conference in Sacramento, California. I'm here with Terry Ray, who's the Chief Project Strategist with Imperva. Terry, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Ann.
So Terry, I know that Imperva does a lot of work around security. So could you talk a little bit about what role does strategic planning have as an organization as it pertains to security?
I think it has a big role. I think at the end of the day, organizations have a lot to protect, and I think the more organizations start to dig into what people are really after, their data, they start to have a lot of discussions around how do we plan to secure this, and a big part of that planning is strategic planning. What I mean by that is most organizations have traditionally really tried to protect their perimeter of their infrastructure, and now organizations are starting to see that a more strategic approach needs to be taken toward what and how to secure the data within the inside of the infrastructure. I think a good analogy is many people's networks are like a M&M. They're hard on the outside and soft on the inside. They kind of need to be like a peanut M&M, hard on the outside and hard on the inside. And part of that is all about strategic planning and how do you really solve the problem of data security when in many cases organizations don't really know where their data actually is in the first place. So there's a lot of things that they have to think about, and that's starting to take place in a much greater scale as you see these breaches that happen throughout the world.
So what preparations would you recommend to protect from an attack?
I think first and foremost, as I noted just a second ago, people have to know where their data actually is. From an Imperva perspective, from our perspective, it's all about the data. Everything's about protecting your data. And if you look at the theft that's gone on, the data extrusions that have gone on, it's all about stealing credit cards or social security numbers or healthcare data or intellectual property, what have you. It's not really about the network as much as it used to be. Now it's about your data. So organizations, first and foremost, they've got to plan out where their data really is, find their critical data, and then start to put controls around it. I see some organizations jump straight to, I've got to control my data. They don't really take this first step to find that data first. They think they know where it is, but they don't always really know. So for us, it's about discovering where your data is, then protecting that data, and then lastly, meeting whatever regulation or compliance that you really need to meet through HIPAA, PCI, Sarbanes-Oxley, what have you. But you've got to at least start in one place and have a plan to get to where you want to ultimately end up.
So, and what can Imperva specifically do to help organizations protect themselves?
Well, we do a lot. Imperva's whole mission is about data security, protecting data, as I noted. And if you look at where data actually exists, data traditionally existed in two places, what's called structured and unstructured repositories, so databases and file servers. Now you start to find data in SharePoint servers. You find data in the cloud where people are pushing data into the cloud. We talked about big data environments where people have big data. You see healthcare breaches now that are happening in data warehousing where they thought that they were just putting data for a long time to do analytics. People break into that, they have access to all your data. So what does Imperva do to solve all this? Imperva recognizes that there are multiple locations where you can put data and where you store data, in the cloud, on-premise, in big data, in non-big data, in relational databases, et cetera. So we have solutions that give customers the visibility to discover where that data, the sensitive data actually exists, also be able to audit all access to that data without requiring that you turn on the audit tools that already exist in databases that quite frankly nobody uses. So it allows them to have that audit without impacting their data infrastructure. And then of course being able to secure access to the most common access point that people use to access that data, which is web applications. We all use a web application to access their data. So we provide a solution to secure your web applications. Lastly, we have solutions that even if you're using cloud infrastructure, you're using Office 365, you're using Box, Dropbox, what have you, all these solutions where you have zero control over how that data is protected, who's putting the data in and how they're putting it in. We have controls now that allow you to have visibility onto how people are utilizing that data that doesn't even exist in your data center. We can still allow you to have visibility, control, and discovery in those environments. The idea with us is simply following the data. Wherever your data goes, we want to make sure that we have a solution that gives organizations the ability to discover it, protect it, and ultimately meet regulation around it.
Well, I would think that would be wonderful for all organizations and state government. Terry, thank you so much for joining us.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Ann.
Thank you.